your head on my shoulder, hold me in your arms, mind you, won't you kiss me once, baby, just to get.
G'day guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play Put Your Head on My Shoulder by Paul Anka, which is an absolute classic. Now in this lesson, I'll teach you two different ways of playing this song. I'll teach you an easy strummed version, but I'll also teach you how to finger pick it. Both methods will utilize the same chords. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitar0tohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to improve on your guitar and your finger picking, then check out GZ2H Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. For the basics of this song, you will just need your guitar and standard tuning, and you won't need a capo. Let's jump into the lesson. Okay, so let's start with the easy strummed version. Now, for this easy strummed version, we're just going to play a strumming pattern that sounds like this. Down, up, down, up. Now the down strums are going to be held a little bit longer than the up strums. So down, up, like that. So for the intro, we have two lines of chords. We have a G chord, then we have an E minor, an A minor, and then a D7 flat 9. Now to play that from the A minor, slide your ring finger up to the 5th fret. Your middle finger goes onto the 5th fret of the 5th string, and your index finger will bar across the 4th fret, and that's barring across the 4th fret for the 4th and 2nd string. So focus on those middle 4 strings for this chord. Now if that D7 flat 9 is too hard for you, then you can just replace it with the D7 chord. And that applies to this entire song. Anywhere where there's a D7 flat 9, if that's too hard, then you can just play the D7. So that's the first line of chords, and then we have a G, and then C, and back to a G, and hold that out for the second line of chords. So the intro. Next we move on to verse number 1, and it's really simple. There's 3 lines of chords here. We have an E minor for 2 strumming patterns, A minor, and then our D7 flat 9. For our second line of chords, it's identical, except we're changing that first E minor for a G. And then if we go G, E minor, and then G. So the first verse. So that's it for verse number 1. Now verse number 2 is almost identical except for the last line of chords. For the last line of chords, we go G, C, and then G for 2 strumming patterns. So let's just play that last line of chords, which differs from the first verse. Then we get to the bridge. So for the bridge, we have 4 lines of chords. We're going to start with the D7 chord like this. So it's the same as a C7 chord, but we're just shifting it up 2 frets. And we're just focusing on those middle 4 strings. So our strumming pattern now is going to go down, 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 down. And there's a pause there. So we're going to do that twice with this D7. Or you can play this D7 as well if you want, but I think this one sounds better. Then we do 2 G chords, and that's the first line of chords that's repeated through twice. So the first line of chords. And that's repeated through twice. And then the second line of chords is F sharp 7. So it's the same as an F bar chord, shifted up 1 fret, and then your pinky finger is lifted. So that's F sharp 7, that's played for 2 strumming patterns. And then we go to a B minor for 2 strumming patterns. For our next line of chords, we go to an A7 and we're playing this for 2 strumming patterns. And then we go to a D and we're changing up our strumming pattern here a little bit. It's going to be 6 down strums for each strumming patterns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the 4th line of chords, we're just going to hit that D chord and mute everything. So in total for the bridge, so that's it for the bridge. Next we move on to verse number 3, and it's identical to verse number 1 with the exception of the final line of chords. So the final line of chords is G for 2 strumming patterns, and then we're going to hit an A flat. You can just hit the A flat note if you want, or you can hit the full A flat bar chord. It's up to you, but I just like hitting the note. So the last line of chords for this 3rd verse. And that's it for verse number 3. For verse number 4, there's a key change. So we'll need to start playing some bar chords here. Basically, everything that's played in the verse is shifted up 1 fret. So instead of an E minor, we now play an F minor. And instead of an A minor, we're playing a B flat minor. So everything's shifted up 1 fret essentially. So F minor for 2 strumming patterns, B flat minor, and then E flat 7, flat 9. So it's the same as the D7 flat 9, just shifted up. So the first line of chords for this final verse. And then the second line of chords is A flat. Now you can play that like an F bar chord, but just up at the 4th and 6th frets. So that's A flat, and then F minor, B flat minor, E flat 7, flat 9, and that's the second line of chords, which just gets repeated until the end of the song. So that second line of chords. Now those bar chords might be a little tricky for some of the beginners out there, but if you're trying to play them and struggle, just at least try and focus on the top 2 or 3 strings. Focus on the power chords and that will still give you the sound that you want. So for example, if we were trying to play the second line of chords just with power chords and not the full bar chord, it'd still sound like this. So it's still not bad, even though we don't have the full bar chord. So if you're a beginner and struggling with the full bar chord, at least just focus on the top 2 or 3 strings. And that's everything for this simple strummed version. So now I'm going to teach you how to fingerpick this. And it's actually quite simple. So the chords don't change from the basic version. Nothing changes in terms of the chords. But we're just going to apply one really basic picking pattern, and you can apply this to every single chord. So our finger picking pattern is just going to be comprised of 6 plucks. Now we're going to start on the bass note of whatever chord we're playing. So for this G chord, for example, that's the 6th string. And then for the rest of the plucks, it's going to be 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So just a down and up motion. That's a typical picking pattern that we're going to apply for every chord here. Bass note, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So if we're applying this to the intro, for example, the G to the E minor, and then when we go to an A minor, our bass note is actually the 5th string. So we apply that finger picking pattern to the A minor, and then we go to our D7 flat 9. Now, if you're playing a regular D7, then the main thing is that you're just still hitting 6 notes. So you can start from the bass note here, which is the 4th string, but you'll need to hit 6 notes after it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, So you might have to change your finger picking pattern here to go bass note, then third, second, first, second, third, if you're playing this particular D chord. Otherwise, just stick to the original picking pattern. So with all that in mind, the intro finger picked will sound like this. Moving on to verse number 1, we're applying that same finger picking pattern to all the chords. So it's all fairly basic, just follow the chord shapes and apply that basic picking pattern, which goes bass note, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 4th strings. And follow that 6/8 timing that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So verse number 1. For verse number 2, again, the only thing that differs is that final line of chords, which is now G, C, and 2 Gs. So the final line of tab for this verse 2. Next for the bridge, again, just apply that finger picking pattern to every single chord. When we get to the final D chord though, you will need to change the finger picking pattern to suit this chord shape. So we start on the 4th string and then go 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And that D chord is played for 2 picking patterns, and then for the final D, we're just going to hit the bass note and pause. So the bridge in total. Moving on to the third verse, again, it's very similar to the first verse with the exception of that final line of chords. So we play 2 picking patterns of the G. And then we just go up to the A flat note and hit that and pause. And then we get to the final verse, which is where that key change happens, and we're just playing all the chords up 1 fret. So it's fairly basic to turn that strummed version into a fingerpicked version. You're just applying that basic fingerpicking pattern instead of using that strumming. And of course, you'll see both versions in context at the end of this video. So those are all the parts you need to learn. So now I'll be doing 2 playthroughs of the song. I'll start with the easy strummed version, and then I'll play the fingerpicked version. A big thanks to my friend Eric for lending his awesome vocals to these playthroughs. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Put your head on my shoulder, hold me in your arms, baby. Squeeze me oh so tight, show me that you love me too. Put your lips next to mine. Say that love If there's a way, I'll find it someday, and then this fool will rush in. Put your head on my shoulder, whisper in my ear, words I want to hear. Tell me that you love me too. Put your head on my shoulder, whisper in my ear, baby, words I want to hear, baby. Put your head on my shoulder. Put your head on my shoulder, hold me in your arms, baby, squeeze me oh so tight, show me that you love me too. Put your lips next to mine, dear. Won't you kiss me once, baby? Just a kiss goodnight, maybe. You and I will fall in love. People say that love's a game, you just can't win. If there's a way, I'll find it someday, and then this fool will rush in. Put your head on my shoulder, whisper in my ear, baby, words I want to hear. Tell me that you love me too. Put your head on my shoulder, whisper in my ear, baby, words I want to hear, baby. Put your head on my shoulder.
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here. Or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.